Hey everyone, we're going to evaluate the definite integral over the interval 0 to 1, and we're going to use our trigonometric integrals and substitutions. So the first thing we need to know is this has the form of this one right here. And so we're going to go ahead and let x equal sine 1 times sine of theta, and therefore our dx would be cosine of theta d theta. So substituting in, we have a definite integral, so what I want to do is come over here and evaluate when x is 0. We're going to get sine of 0, which still gives us 0. So our integral is going to be 0. And then when you plug in 1, you're going to get, when x is 1, that means our theta would be pi divided by 2. Because we have to be in between negative, negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. And at negative pi over 2, it's negative 1. So we're going to change this to pi divided by 2. So basically, sine of 0 equals 0, and sine of pi over 2 is 1. Now, we can change this up by writing substitution. So basically x cubed, and we're letting x equal sine of theta. So that's going to be sine cubed of theta times the square root of 1 minus sine squared of theta. And then I think that's all we have there. And then we have to do derivative of x. So that's going to be multiplied by cosine theta d theta for our dx. All right, so this is going to simplify to sine cubed theta times this is square root of cosine squared theta. So that's just going to be cosine of theta. And you multiply it by that, you're going to get squared d theta. Okay, so simplifying from there, we can write this as the integral from 0 to pi over 2. I'm going to write this as sine squared theta times sine theta cosine squared of theta d theta. So simplifying further, I can write this as 1 minus cosine squared theta times sine theta cosine squared of theta. Now using substitution, I'm going to let this equal, and I'm using the cosine. So I'm letting u equal cosine of theta. Therefore, du equals sine, negative sine theta d theta. So simplifying further, we're going to get, I'm going from, when you substitute in your 0 and pi over 2, cosine of pi over 2 is just 0, and cosine of 0 is 1. But we have this negative du, so this is d theta here. So I can switch this around and make this, well, let's just write it like this for now. So then we'll have 1 minus u squared times u squared, and then we have this negative sine of theta, so that's going to be negative du. So you can pull the negative out here and change that to a positive. All right, and to get rid of the negative, all you have to do is, since that's negative, I can switch my integral around from 0 to 1 like that, and I'm going to distribute, so you're going to get u squared minus u to the 4th du. So integrating that, you're going to get integral, let's just integrate it now. So we're going to get 1/3 u cubed minus 1/5 u to the 5th. And we're going from 0 to 1. So that's going to equal 1/5, or 1/3 minus 1/5. And that equals 5 minus 3 divided by 15. Common denominator, and just multiply those two. And so your final answer is going to be 2 divided by 15. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.